Barbara, are you here with us? Oh, here she comes, just on time. Hi, Barbara. Are you in?
Oh, we have a group. Oh
We
my
do.
gosh. I
Hello.
This is so fun.
Well, we're so glad to have you.
Oh my gosh. I would have been even more excited had I known we're having a party.
We are having a party, and people are popping in and out of the party. It's kind of like a real party. So,
Oh, so cool.
hi.
Hello.
I'm
I
just
didn't
so.
mean to come on so strong. I was just didn't expect all these faces.
Oh, it's super fun. And I am super excited to have you because I read your book many moons ago and it
Which
has
one?
inspired me, The Six-Figure Women. And I know you're coming out with a new one and we'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to say thank you for inspiring me because that was when you were still, I think, Barbara, is Stanny, right? Is how you say it? Yeah. And now you're married. And your new name is, how do you say that? Huson?
Huson.
Huson. It is
Huson.
Huson. Yeah.
Nobody pronounces that right. Nobody. Houston, like Houston without the T.
It is like Houston.
Yeah, Houston without the T.
Yeah, it is exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so she is one of the leading women on women making money. She has had a long career for uh, investigating women. She was a journalist, and then she went on to write about women and how women rose up to make six figures. And that, of course, when was that book? It was a long time ago. I read it a long time ago. Was it in the 90s?
2000, no, my first one, Prince Charming Isn't Coming, How Women Get Smart About Money. That was 1997, and that's still selling. The next one was in the year 2000, and that was Secrets of Six-Figure Women.
Yeah. So
And
that's
then,
20 years ago. So this woman has a long history of helping women rise up and make money. She's a best-selling author, a therapist, a wealth coach. She's literally helped millions of women change their financial status. Her background is in business and journaling, and she's done extensive research in money and women. So I want you to know she is a wealth and a treasure, and I feel extremely privileged to have you here today, Barbara. She's been
wow,
on Good
thank
Morning
you.
America and MSNBC, Fox News, NPR, PBS, New York Times, USA Today, like you name it, this woman has been there and spoken to women and speaking to the heart of women. And really helping us live richer in multiple ways, financially, internally, live richer lives. So welcome, Barbara. We are thrilled to have you. And for those of you who are tuning in on the replay, welcome to you as well. We are thrilled to have you. Thank you for being here. Can you hear me, Barbara?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for being here.
And so thank you for that wonderful introduction. It was very enthusiastic, and I loved it. Thank you.
I am very enthusiastic. That is one thing about me. Yes. So tell us a little bit. How did you get started helping women in the whole field of money?
Never did I think I'd be doing this, talking to you, and you'd be describing me this way. Never. So I grew up in a wealthy family. My father was the R of H&R Block, and the only advice he ever gave me about money was, don't worry. Don't worry. And I loved that advice. I never wanted to worry about money. I just wanted to spend it. And of course, under those words, don't worry, was the unspoken assumption there'll always be a man to take care of you, which I loved even better. And I married a man who was a lawyer. Then he became a stockbroker, so he was perfect. But what I found out very early in our marriage is that he was a compulsive gambler.
Mm.
And over the course of our 15-year marriage, I'd find out every year, many times a year, he was gambling my money, my inheritance away. And the insane part, is I continued to let him manage the money. He paid all the bills, he did all the investment decisions. I just signed whatever he told me to sign because that's how intimidated and terrified I was with anything financial. And finally, after 15 years, I got a divorce, but I decided money is not my thing. I do not want to deal with money.
Mm,
I have this theory that if you don't deal with money, your money will deal with you. And
mm,
in the next year, I got tax bills for way over $1 million for back taxes my ex didn't pay, for illegal deals he got us in, and my signature was on everything. My husband had left the country. My I had nowhere near $1 million, nowhere, not even close. And my father refused to lend me the money. And that's when I knew I had to get smart. And and I tried reading books and I tried going to classes, and my brain would fog up, my eyes would glaze over. I just figured I was terminally stupid. But I absolutely believe that when you're committed, and I was committed, I had 3 daughters, I was not going to raise them on the street. That when you are committed, like no back door, committed, the universe revolves to help you reach your goal.
mm,
And I was working as a journalist for the
mm.
San Francisco Business Times, and I was hired for a freelance project to interview women who were smart with money. And those interviews changed my life. I not only got smart about my money, but I wrote my first book, Prince Charming Isn't Coming, and suddenly I had this whole new career traveling all over the country, but I couldn't make money. So I interviewed women who made lots of money, and that came the book you read, Secrets of Six-Figure Women. And I started making six figures before I even finished writing the book. Then I wanted to see if I could teach others how to do this. And my next book came out, Overcoming Under Earning. And then after that, I wrote my next book, Sacred Success. And now I have my next book, new book coming out called Rewire for Wealth.
Love it. Yeah, and it comes out in January, right?
January 12th. Yes.
So like a month,
But,
months in
but it's
front.
available for pre-order now.
Awesome. I don't think I have the link for that. Uh,
You
is it?
just go on, you can go on, if you want a link, I can give you the link, but you can go on Amazon and pre-order it. But if you pre-order it and then send us, we'll give you lots of little gifts and fun things.
So order it from your website.
You can go on my website,
Okay, and that's where you're
Barbara at Barbara-Huson, HUSON.com.
.com. So there you're going to get little gifts and stuff. And I highly recommend whatever she writes. So go and grab that book off of her website. So Barbara, you always say that problems with money are never about money.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking a lot about that today. What are the problems?
So I am convinced, and I realized this from my first book I wrote, that women's difficulties with money have little or nothing to do with money per se. And it is all about our fear of or ambivalence about power.
Mm.
And money does not give us power. I had the money in my first marriage, but he had the power because I gave it to him and I let him make the decisions. Basically, I define a powerful woman as someone who knows who she is, who knows what she wants, and expresses that in the world unapologetically.
Mm.
And what that means is our fear of power is our fear of becoming all of who we're meant to be.
Mm.
Because what happens is we women tend to water ourselves down so we don't make waves.
Mm-hmm. So true. Oh, I love that. Isn't that a beautiful definition of power? Oh,
And thank you. Trisha said that was powerful. Thank you, Trisha.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. So powerful. How do you define wealth? If the power is defined as that, what would you define as wealth?
So let me explain. Let me put this in context. There's 3 levels of financial development. There's survival, stability, and affluence, or wealth. Survival is not enough. Stability is just enough. And wealth is more than enough.
Mm.
So basically, wealth means you have more than enough and you know it. Because I know women who have millions and they don't feel financially secure or they don't feel wealthy. And I know women who have far less and really appreciate their bounty. So wealth is when you have more than enough, and that there's no amount. It's not amount, it's a mindset. You have more than enough and you know it. You have more than enough to meet your needs and you know it.
That is amazing. Trish said, yes, beautifully put. Yes, yes. And yet so many of us are stuck in that survival or, just enough. And it has nothing to do with how much we have. It's right in here, right? Is what I'm hearing you
Well,
say.
here's the thing. To go from survival to stability, from not enough to just enough, you must have a profit motive. You must love money. You must want money. Money is a great thing. So many people who are in survival don't like money, or they think people who have it are bad. Now, to go from stability to affluence, you must give up the profit motive. You still want to make money. You still have a profit motive, but that is not the primary goal of creating wealth and affluence. The primary goal is greatness. And I define greatness by paraphrasing a quote by Fred Buchner that says, greatness is that place where our deep gladness, doing what we are put on this planet to do, meets the world's deep hunger.
Mm.
And that comes
Wow.
from my book, Sacred Success, A Course in Financial Miracles. And I wrote that book because I decided one night I woke up and I had been making six figures for a long time. And I woke up in the middle of the night and suddenly I had this new goal. I'm going to make millions, help millions, and give millions. And I thought, okay, that's my next book. I'm going to interview women making millions. I'm going to make millions and I'm going to write a book about it. Well, I interviewed all these women who made millions. I had no trouble finding them. But 3 years later, I had no book and nowhere near making millions. Nowhere near. 2009 was probably the worst year financially I'd had in a long time. And I remember talking to a coach and she said, Barbara, you're too into being. You need time for you're too into doing. You need time for just being. And so I knew she was right. I went on a 4-day retreat and I took all the transcripts of my interviews because I felt like I'm just missing something here. And when I reread those transcripts in a much more relaxed, calm, surrendered place, I saw what I'd missed. It was these women who were making millions were doing it very differently than the world, i.e. men, models. And they were
Mm.
playing this, and they were playing a very different game. It's what I called sacred success.
Mm.
And sacred success means pursuing your soul's purpose for your own bliss and the benefit of others while being richly rewarded.
So good. Wow. And so powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Can you say that again? Doing your soul's bliss. Say that again.
Sacred success. Sacred success is these women were making millions, but they were not profit driven. They all intended to make a profit because they knew they were worth it. They had that belief.
Mm.
But sacred success means pursuing your soul's purpose for your own bliss because it makes you so happy. And the benefit of others, meeting their needs too, while being richly rewarded.
Wow. That's like the definition of being like so fully alive.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. That's why I think that it's so important for us when we're wanting to be successful, we're wanting to be more successful, we're wanting to make more money. It's so important to look at what our purpose is. Because what I found is women who are purpose driven having a purpose just drives us past the obstacles, past the challenges, all those things that come up that want to stop us. When you have a purpose, there was this quote I kept from Joan of Arc, supposedly said, Joan of Arc said, I'm not afraid, I was born to do this. Well, I believe Joan of Arc probably was very afraid, but she was so purpose driven that it was stronger than her fear.
Mm. So that your purpose is stronger than your fear. So good. And I think, so, as women, we're taught to kind of cower to our fear, at least, some of the women that I.
Well, I think we women are too easily stopped by our fear. Because what I've learned, and I saw this when I started interviewing women, secrets of six-figure women, when I interviewed successful women, they were very confident, and I expected them to be, just like the women who made millions. But as we got deeper into the interviews, every single one of them struggled with fear, struggled with self-doubt. Almost all of them felt like a fraud and were afraid others were going to find out. And I thought, oh my God, that's just like me, because I was a chronic under-earner up until then.
Mm.
But the difference between them and me is they didn't let the fear stop them. They did it anyway. And what I learned from them is there is no such thing as fearless for women. There is no such thing. It is the idea of not letting the fear stop you. It's being afraid and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I scare myself all the time. I'm always scared. Every time I write a new book, terrifies me. And I go through a little panic, and then I just say, oh goody, that means I'm going to the next level.
Love that. I'm scared. I do it anyway. It means I'm going to the next level. I love that.
Because
Beautiful.
success in anything, whether it's making more money or losing more weight, always lies just outside your comfort zone.
Always.
Always. And so if I'm not scared, I know I'm not growing.
Did you hear that, ladies? If she's not scared, she knows she's not growing. So that means there's an edge to your fear. You got to keep going over it, right?
Yes, there is an edge and there's a purpose, because no longer is that woolly mammoth attacking us. No longer. It is imagined fears, but it just means we're going outside our comfort zone. We're doing what we are not used to doing.
Absolutely. It just means doing what we're not used to doing. Love that definition. So someone asked, can you move from survival to sacred? Can you move from survival to sacred success? We are teetering stability. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe.
Okay. Can you move from survival to affluence? I think she means. Can you move from survival to wealth? Sure, but you got to get stable first. You can go to survival, but you have to hit stability. And from that place of stability, I mean, there are people who are in survival and then they win the lottery. And in 3 years, it's gone, because there's a big adjustment period from not having enough to having just enough to having more. And that's really what I talk about in my next book, because I really, the mindset's important, but mindset is not enough, because our behavior is controlled by our brain. Our brain, whether we're inhaling and exhaling, spending and saving, it's all controlled by our brain. And our brain is sculpted by our past. Our brain is sculpted by our thoughts. And if you want to shift the way your brain is wired, you need to shift your thinking. And so going back to your question, going from survival to stability takes one mindset, but then going to affluence takes another mindset.
So you're saying that in order for her to go from survival to sacred success, she really needs to master the stability piece.
She needs to get to it. She needs to get to where she has just enough. Because those in survival are in such self-protection. Their fear is determining their choices. And once they get past their fear and their biases about wealth and whatever else is going on, then they have to adjust to having enough. And they have to adjust their mindset and their beliefs. And then when they expand that, then they can go to wealth. And it doesn't need to take long.
Right, you can move through that quickly, but
Yeah.
it's a yeah. What made you write your latest book? What was the fuel for your Rewired for Wealth? I love it because it's talking about your brain, I'm assuming.
So it was in 2014, somewhere around there, 2014. Oh, after Sacred Success just came out. And I did this retreat, a women's retreat, and it was really successful. And it was sold out and it was really wonderful. And I was feeling so good. I love my Sacred Success book and I love this retreat. And I came back home and something bizarre happened. I started losing interest in my work.
Mm.
And I not only started losing interest, I started disliking it. And then I started hating it. And then I started dreading going to work. And I thought, this is nuts. This is my work. This is more than a job. This is my mission. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here. And I just said, I felt like something was missing. Something was missing. I had no idea what it was. And I tried to push myself out of it, and I couldn't. And so I just thought, I'm going to surrender. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not it whatever's broken, you just show me, God. You show me what is it. And there's something really powerful that happens when you surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of stepped back, and one day I was going through my email and this article on neuroscience showed up. And I knew nothing about neuroscience, the study of the brain, and I started reading it. And I swear to God, Lainey, it was like, I swear some part of my brain must have lit up like a Christmas tree and said, this is it. This is what's missing. And so I spent about 5 years
Mm.
studying neuroscience and integrating it in my work. And I realized if I could teach women how to train their minds to rewire and reprogram their brain for wealth and well-being, this would expedite the learning process and help them get over their resistance. And it has been extraordinary. It has been extraordinary in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been extraordinary in the women's lives I have helped. And so I created this very simple 3-step formula to rewire your brain for wealth and well-being. And I use those two together because the word wealth comes from the Latin root weal, W-E-A-L, meaning well-being. And really, truthfully, the ultimate purpose of creating wealth is not just to have more money in your pocket, it's to have well-being in your life.
Yes. Ultimately, down deep, we're all searching for well-being. It's not really the money, it's the what the money will bring to us, and that is the sense of happiness and joy, that
Yes.
well-being. So good.
Money does not bring happiness. Money does not bring joy. What brings joy is the money allows us to make choices
Mhm.
that serve us, that that frees us to live our life to the fullest.
Yes, and that's what we're all searching for us.
Yeah, yes, to live our life fullest. And the thing I love about the rewiring process is not only do we free ourselves to create the wealth we deserve and desire, but we discover who we really are, our authentic self, before we were conditioned to believe we were otherwise.
Love that. Love that. So it's this whole rewiring of your brain. So tell us a little bit, during your research, the difference between the brain and the mind and how that they work together to create whatever it is we want to create.
Did you read my book? You're
No, but
asking great questions.
mental health therapist, and I worked with severe trauma. And
Ah,
so I have a pretty good understanding of neuroscience. I'm EMDR certified. Yeah.
oh, you are? Okay, well, no one talks about the role of trauma and shame in money.
It's
And
so important. Trauma and shame and money is so
I,
important.
I just was, I just had a client right before you who had been to so many coaches, and she couldn't get over her under earning. And we got to all the trauma she suffered when she was a child just because her parents weren't there for her. And I think so. I won't go into this. This is your expertise, but trauma and shame are key. And what they do is they wire our brain to always be on guard, to always be in protection. So the difference between the mind and the brain. The mind is a non-physical entity. It's the source of our thoughts and our feelings. The brain is a physical organ in our skull that works on electrical chemical impulses. And the way they work together is when the mind has a thought or a feeling, it goes to the brain, which releases all these chemical, electrical impulses that either dig that neural pathway that matches the thought deeper, or it starts creating a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to stop the neural pathway that says, I gotta spend, I gotta spend, I gotta spend, or there's never enough, or I'm not enough, we have to then reprogram our thoughts, retrain our mind to think differently so that those deep neural pathways start weakening and the new neural pathway that says I'm enough, I have enough, starts getting stronger.
Yes. Ah, I love it. So, so good. So now you're working with women to help them create those new neural pathways. That's your new work.
I am integrating that. So there's always been 4 components to my work. That is I combine personal finance with psychology, with spirituality, and with now neuroscience. And I get those to work together so they can plow through their resistance, plow through their fear, and create the life they desire and deserve.
Did you hear
And
that?
me too. I do it on me.
Well, we have to, right? I mean, we're part of the whole process. But did you hear that, Lisa? There is a way to plow from scarcity or from wherever you're at through the stages to get to stability, to get to wealth, right? So Barbara, what would be one tool that women could take away to rewire their brain for financial success?
Can I tell you the 3 steps really quickly?
Of course. Yeah, we want to hear. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I, after years of research, boiled it down to 3 steps that you can rewire your brain. And it takes a tremendous amount of effort to rewire your brain, especially in the beginning, because those neural pathways are so deeply embedded that it's like going against gravity. But if you can do these 3 steps consistently over and over again, you will be amazed how powerful they are. Simple, powerful, but very difficult at the beginning. So I'll go over them, just tell you what they are. I'll tell you briefly what they are, and then I can use examples or whatever you want. So the 3 steps are recognize, reframe, and respond differently. Recognize that whenever you're having a negative thought, you just recognize, you observe it, because you can't change anything until you're aware of it. But you recognize and observe it in a very specific way. You notice the thought you're having, but you notice it like you're a objective observer, like doing this out of body thing. And you notice it not with judgment and not with criticism, but with curiosity. Oh, isn't that interesting? I'm having a thought about having not enough. This isn't true, because our thoughts are not true or false. They just are thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true. I'm just having a thought. And it's a thought that's probably been wired in my brain for a long time. So just observe with curiosity. Then the second step is to reframe it. How can I see this differently? How can I see this differently? To give it a different slant. And the third step is to respond differently, to do what doesn't feel normal, what doesn't feel natural, what goes against every grain in your body that says, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you a real quick example how I apply this to me. So a few months ago, I was working with my team and we decided that I was going to do this project. I had never done this project before, ever. And I got scared because they understood it. I didn't understand it. And so I noticed myself getting scared. And so I started observing my thoughts. And I realized my thought boiled down to, I don't have what it takes. It wasn't just, I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? I'm having a thought, I don't have what it takes. This is an old thought. I've had it before. I've never reprogrammed it. This is an old thought. This is not the truth. This came way back from my father. I don't have what it takes because I'm a girl. Now, how can I reframe that? And it kind of played around with different ways to reframe it. Like, I have what it takes, but it just didn't resonate. And then I thought, oh, I can handle this. Whatever happens, I can handle it. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be true, and we don't have to believe it. Believe you can, believe you can't. Either way, you'll be right, Henry Ford said. It is the more we repeat something, our brain starts to believe it. So I started saying, I can handle this. I can handle anything. And then I responded differently. I did not want to write those emails. I did not want to write the script. I did not want to do anything. And I did it anyway. I started writing the scripts. I started writing the emails. And the more I kept saying, oh, isn't that interesting? I'm having a thought about, I don't have what it takes. I noticed myself separating from the thought. It wasn't power. It didn't have a grip on me. And the more I said, I can handle this, I can handle anything, the easier it became to write those emails. And the project turned out to be fabulous, and it was really fun. So that's just my example of how I used it.
So good. I mean, but that's just something I think that each one of us could use, because we all have those thoughts of, I'm not enough, or, I'm not smart enough, pretty enough, have enough money, whatever it is, our not enoughness. So to begin to say, and quite often it's not the opposite. Like you said, well, I am enough. That's not it. It's, you have to find, like, oh, maybe there is a way, or, oh, I can handle it.
Or sometimes it's just, oh, this is an opportunity for me to rewire.
Yes.
I don't know how to reframe it. I'm just going to reframe it. This isn't an opportunity for me to stop. This is an opportunity for me to use it to rewire.
Absolutely.
And then respond differently.
So good. Barbara, thank you so much for giving us your time and talent and energy and your incredible wisdom. I've just been watching and everybody's just like, yeah, it's amazing. Thank you. I'm celebrating so.
Oh, I saw somebody said, preach, Barbara. Trisha, I love you. Preach, Barbara. I always wanted to be a minister. I always wanted to be a preacher, but I'm Jewish, and Jews can't be preachers. So it's like, you just said, preach, Barbara. Thank you.
Well, you were a preacher today, Barbara. You got
Thank you.
So
Thank
good.
you. Thank you, Lainey.
Barbara, okay, so I ask everyone I ever interview, and I do a lot of interviews, what is one thing that you would say on your deathbed to the women that you love the most? What's one bit of advice that you would pass from you to them?
Oh, advice, not just to say I love you. Advice
they know you love them.
is do what you fear. Do what you fear.
Beautiful. Do what you fear. Amazing.
Whatever scares you, that's the signal where you should go.
Did you hear that? Her bit of advice is whatever you fear, do that. Awesome. So good. Thank you, Barbara. Do you guys have any questions? I feel like you've asked them during the time, but if there's anything you want to ask her, now's your opportunity.
I love to take questions. I love it.
Any questions? Well, I think Lisa asked hers about, can you go from one level to the next without hitting the one in between? She asked that. Anyone else? Or are you just going to go back and rewatch this? Unreal. Thank you. So good. Rewatching, she says, yes.
Uh,
I know throughout the day there's been so much stuff that many of you and many of you who are watching on replay are going to be pushing pause. How can you work on being consistent? That's a great question, Carmita.
it's a great question. How can you work on being consistent? You just be consistent. You notice when your fear, I know I'm speaking from my experience. When your fear says, don't do this, you know that's what you need to do. You just need to force yourself to do what you're scared to do or don't want to do. And this is the key to success. This is really the key. If I had to give one key, it's do what you're scared to do or what you don't want to do. And you force yourself. And if you fall down, if you don't do it, don't judge yourself, don't criticize yourself. Love yourself up just like you were a child and say, okay, honey, you fell down, let's get back up and be consistent here.
Yes.
And the other thing is get support. Get support. That's why what you're doing here is so beautiful. Because we women are so relationship oriented. I couldn't do any of this myself. I'm
We
always calling my girlfriends and say, I don't want to do this. I am so done. Talk me off this ledge.
so good. Yes, we need community. We need each other. So good. Well, you couldn't even do the work that you've done without the help of other women. I mean, we need each other, right? I mean, you wrote books because you interviewed people.
And even more because I had my girlfriends and my people saying, you can do this. You can do this. You are not a shitty writer. You, excuse my language. You can do this. You can do this.
Yes, you can, Barbara, and you have. So good. All right, you guys. So pick up her book. It is on her website, and thank God for girlfriends. That's right, Trish. So go and grab her book. And if you pre-order, I hear you get goodies. So who doesn't like goodies? Oh, we all like free goodies. So go and grab her book. I am going to grab it for sure. Love her writing and know she is a fabulous writer. I don't know where she got the idea that she wasn't a good writer, but her stuff's amazing. So thank you, Barbara. Thank you for being here today. Much love to you.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you so much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So, ladies, thank you for showing up today. Thank you, Trish and Carmita and Gail and Benita and all of you guys just for showing up. Mimi and Stacy and Lisa, Grace, thank you so much for being here. And did I forget Hillary and Jody? Jody, you're still here. Oh, so good. You guys, so good. Um, and I just want to say thank you for showing up and for participating and for asking great questions. It was an amazing day. So now the next step is I am going to this is going to take a while to download. So be watching your inbox. It'll probably happen closer to Monday, and you'll get this in your inbox along with all the links. So if you missed something, you can come back. You can rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. Thank you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart. That was super fun. Wasn't that great? Thank you, and you're welcome, everyone. Thank you for saying thank you to me. It just so special. What an amazing group of women, including you. You made it what it was. Not just the women who spoke, but you guys participating and giving your whole heart. So much love to you. Keep at it. I am going to be adding workshops and all kinds of fun goodies to the docket. So stay tuned in 2021. Let's all rise to prosperity together. I mean, imagine if all of us who are sitting here still left listening to me preach it, imagine if we all rose together to be everything that God has called us to be. Wouldn't it be amazing? We, just the few of us, could change this world. So here we are. Let's go be prosperous and wealthy and make money so that we can do more good, whether that's adopting a bunch of kids or giving away to orphans or serving in our local food bank, just loving on people. All right. You are welcome for bringing this together. I will see you guys again real soon. Much love from the bottom of my heart. Mwah. Big hug and kiss to all of you, virtual or not. If I had you here, I'd give you a big hug. So I'll see you guys really soon.